Well, I love the story of how the award came about. So from my understanding, there were two school librarians 50 years ago, Mabel McKissick and Glendon Greer.
And it was the day before the Newbery and Caldecott Awards. It was at the American Library Association conference. And they were talking about the lack of Black representation or African American representation in children's literature.
John Carroll, who was the publisher that overheard the conversation, said to them,
well, why don't you ladies start your own award? And that was really a very revolutionary thing to do. It was very groundbreaking.
By the end of the conference, the idea for an award to honor African American authors had already become a reality. And then subsequently, the following year in 1970, was the first Coretta Scott King Book Award. The award is given annually to outstanding African American authors and illustrators of children's books that demonstrate an appreciation of African American heritage, culture, and universal human values. The founders really admired Coretta Scott King and actually had a personal relationship with her. And so they decided to name the award after Coretta Scott King.
Coretta Scott King was always at the side of her husband. A lot of women participated in the civil rights era, but of course this is the man's world during this time, and so you get more focused with the men than the women.
Each book that gets the award is marked with a special seal designed by Lev Mills, which marks the book as a Coretta Scott King award-winning title. I first came across the book awards as a young child, of course seeing the seal on the books. And as I became a public librarian, I would always make a conscious effort to select and acquire the Coretta Scott King books. The jury that selects the books do a phenomenal job every year, and I think every single book speaks to the reason why the award was established.
I can't pick one out, but I know I love Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters. I love Dave the Potter. That's one of my favorite books.
Some of my personal favorites would be authors like Virginia Hamilton and Mildred D. Taylor, because those are the books that I remember reading as a young person, seeing myself, seeing my language, my culture reflected back to me as a mirror, so to speak. And those are the ones that I would try to pass on to children in the communities that I've worked in as a librarian.
The Coretta Scott King is celebrating its 50th anniversary. We're going to celebrate all year long. ALA.org/CSK. You can get all the Coretta Scott King Award books.
LAPL is participating in a magnificent way. We have over 30 libraries that will have programs related to the CSK Book Award, having an online reading challenge. And we will have the original artwork of all of the award books on display in our gallery space here at the Central Library.
I think the Coretta Scott King is more relevant now because if you look at the publishing industry, it's still a lack of representation. We still need to work at that. We still need to continue to have this increase.
50 years ago, this type of award was needed and necessary to uplift not just African Americans, but all Americans. And here we are 50 years later, and the award is just as relevant today as it was 50 years ago. I mean, there's currently on social media the hashtag We Need Diverse Books, and absolutely that is true, that we need them, and we need to continue to encourage African American artists and authors to continue writing the history and the heritage and the culture of African Americans to share with the entire nation and ultimately the world.